Organization of my research, I've gone through, I have a final thesis statement that is very clear. I know I can support that with all of my research, and then I've taken all of that research and organized it into an outline using the weaving process that we talked about when we were learning the writing process or reviewing the writing process earlier in the year. We're going to use that same organization strategy, the weaving. So I have all of my submotifs clearly organized. I have pieces of evidence from all of my research, including my primary source. Obviously, I didn't go through and fill the entire outline. I wanted to do one or two so you guys have an idea of what that looks like. So the next step after I have all of that is to prepare my presentation. So this assignment is, when you open it in Teams, you'll notice the first thing is a playlist. There are 2 videos in that playlist. These are presentation tips and strategies that I've kind of collected through the years of this project and doing all public speaking with my students. And these are good strategies, not just for our class, but for any presentation that you have to do. So those of you who are planning on going on to college or university, or planning on being in the business world or some career that is going to require you to give these kinds of presentations, these are good skills for you to learn. So what I want you to do is to watch those videos, and I want you to take notes. Now, you can take notes by typing them right underneath, or if you are a handwriter, like you prefer to handwrite, which I do because I feel like I process the information better, you can do that on paper and then insert an image right under that notes section. The next step when I am preparing my presentation is I have to figure out what app I'm going to use for the slideshow. Now, slideshow, by definition, is a visual aid. This is an application that I'm going to use that's going to help my audience. So I want to think about, one, which one am I most comfortable with, because that's probably going to be the best bet. And 2, which one's best for the audience that I'm addressing in this presentation, which will be me and several of your peers. So all you need to do is write down what you're using there. So are you using PowerPoint? Are you using Google Slides? Are you using Prezi? Are you using SlideShare? I'm sure there's many more out there that you can access. And if you are in the mood to research some new ones, then have at that and just indicate which one you're going to use. And then you'll notice there's a little chart here. This is a brainstorming activity for you. I'm going to go through, and I don't need to fill in the title, but the submotifs I would fill in. This is all based on the outline. Excuse me. So that's my first. I can go through and do all of that. And I'm just going to go through and kind of fill that in. Okay, so that's what you're going to do first, is you're going to fill in all of those submotifs just so you know which particular group of, or which particular part, of your outline that you're using. Okay, so then I'm going to go through and you'll look in this chart. It says number of slides. That's how many slides you're going to use for each of those submotifs. For the title, intro, and thesis, more than likely you're only going to use one. That doesn't mean you can't use more. The title slide, I'm probably going to use one. What images? You do not need to find the images at this point. This is just your consideration. What image would go with my title? So my title, let's just say I'm looking at my thesis, and I'm going to put my title as Reading the World. Okay, so let's say that's my title. Reading the World, Understanding Perspectives from the Written Word. That's my title. Those are going to be the words on the slide. What images would go with that? That's a good question. So if I look at that, I have a couple options here. I could use a globe, Oh, not a glove. Ha. World map. I can use the written word, like a page from a book. Perspectives, I might want to use, let's see, a magnifying glass. Now you see, I'm using question marks there because I'm not sure what I'm going to do. This is brainstorming, so after you brainstorm for each, and you can go back through and think, okay, I'm definitely going to use that globe or world map, and then I can organize that much more cleanly. Okay, so your intro slide or slides, this might be one or two, could be, like I said, multiple. So let's say I want to do two, and for my intro, I want maybe, because I'm going to be talking about the book I read, I might want a picture of the cover of the book. Okay. And then what words might I have? I might have, if I am giving some background information about the book itself, I might have the character names. Okay. And let's see. I might want to talk about their ethnicities. I might want to name their ethnicities. Now, important to note is I want to use bullets, so I'm not going to be using full sentences here. Like their name, ethnicities. Oh, I can't even spell. Okay, and then my thesis, that's going to be one. I'm not going to have any images on that one, and I'm going to actually have the entire thesis. That's a requirement. You have to have that entire thesis. So then what I'm going to think about is, as I go through this is the skeleton. This outline is the skeleton of my presentation. So I want to consider, how would I flesh that out? And what does my audience need to see visually while they are listening to the words I say? Okay, so I'm probably going to, if I look at cultural perspectives and race, I might have, let's say, 2 slides for this, and one, I'm going to think about, because I'm going to have one that's for, let's say, African American or Black. And then I might talk about say Asian American, because some of my research did that. Okay, so I have 2 slides, and I have those underneath that because those are going to be probably the titles of those slides. Okay, then what words, if I'm looking at this, looking at what I have in my outline, would I list those entire phrases? Probably not. I would definitely include those in my speech, but in my actual outline, I might only quote that, or I might just have planets. So that's something to consider. This is me walking through my brainstorming process here. You know, should I quote? Should I actually have the words, totally different planets? Or should I have planets on there so when I speak to my audience, that's the visual they see while they're hearing me talk about it? Okay? So that's something to consider. Personally, I like the images better, so I would get rid of those words. And then I might have no words on this. I might keep just the planets on that one. So I don't need the words on that. A good way to consider when I need words versus when I need images is if it's numbers, those are usually you really can't represent those symbolically with images. So having the number itself or the data itself is good. Using words, if there is a quote that is particularly worded that you couldn't master it or paraphrase it, and you want to cite or give credit to the person who put it together that way, that would be a good choice to use words instead of phrases. Okay, so you're going to go through and you're going to do that for the whole thing. Okay, just a way for you to brainstorm and think about it before you create your slideshow. Okay, creating the slideshow and then, kind of winging it and just putting the words on there, that's going to give you, think about it. How many times have you had somebody who was teaching you or giving a presentation and all they did was read what was on the slideshow? That's not going to benefit your audience. So you want to be a little bit more purposeful in how you put this together. Okay, so after you get all of that done, you are going to go ahead and create your slideshow using whatever app you chose. You'll notice that you have a bibliography slide here, or slides. You're going to have that all of your sources in alphabetical order that you cited, not necessarily all of the sources that you curated. Anything that you actually reference in the meat of your outline, you would have in that bibliography. Okay, so ask me any questions that you have before or during, and good luck.